group is the losers, and we will be showing a demo on how to play our game. At the start, our game is the Dream Team, and at the start of the game, each player will be given a tool card as well as two tokens representing coins as currency. The game the game consists of a 12 by 12 board with six different types of spaces. Each space represents a different function. M represents meat, P represents plant, S represents spices, and the question mark represents mystery cards. Reroll represents the reroll feature, and start is the beginning of the board. Let's see. There's also a shop in this game as well. The shop consists of 4 tool cards and 2 spice cards. The spice cards in the shop cost 2 coins each, and the tools cost 10 coins each. Let's see. Players will take turn rolling the dice to determine who goes first. Whoever rolls the highest number gets to go first. So for example, I roll a 5, which will mean that I go first, since it's the highest. And the player to the right of me will then go second, and to right of them third, and etc. Players after that will take turns rolling the dice to determine how far they will travel along the board. So for example, I roll a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I land on P, which means I get to grab a plant card. Over time, players will travel along the board, and once they make a complete trip around the board and pass or land on start, they will be able to grab a counter card. Once a player accumulates 10 of these counter cards, their journey will end and they will no longer be able to travel along the board. The game ends once every player accumulates 10 counter cards. And when that happens, we all compare our recipes to determine who wins and who has the most points. Okay.
Alright. So, the way the shop works. My bad. Do you want me to do my shop intro now?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the way our shop works is that not the way the way our recipes work is that we follow the recipes given in the given recipe book. Recipe I've chosen is one that's the easiest in the given section. Mine is called Plant Mush. It only requires 3 random plants and objects and a pestle. So that's all I have given here. So in making the recipe, I don't expend my pestle, but I do expend my ingredients. And in doing so, I get 4 coins worth of items. I can put this back into the plant pile, and I go and I take 4 coins because that's the worth of that given recipe, and I add that to my given bag. I can then use these coins to buy items at the shop. The way this works is that I return the given coins, and I collect items. For instance, For instance, I would like Belgrave Rot and Phoenix Talon for a recipe I plan to make in the long run. So I buy these 2. Each ingredient from the shop costs 2 coins each. That takes up coins I just got. I would return that then to the given bank. So that's how our items and our recipes work, as well as our shop.
It's worth noting that in contrast to the spices, which cost 2 coins each, the tools in the shop cost 10 coins each. So they're a bit expensive compared to the spices, but they broaden your horizons in the long run.
Yes.
And
there are multiple recipes made with different tools. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
There are multiple recipes made with different tools, and the more tools at your disposal, the more range you have to make high point winning recipes if you play your cards right. Cards.
And yeah, first player to make the most recipes, gain the most points, and have the most fun is the true winner of this game. So have fun and click out. Okay.
For this part of the video, I will be demonstrating how to play the game. We will be playing a demo with 3 players. So, for example, 3 players choose their 3 pieces. Each player starts off with a tool card each. Then each player will take 2 coins from one of the infinity bags on the corner. Then the shop will be loaded with 1, 2, 3, 4 tool cards, as well as 1, 2 spice cards. After that, each of the decks is shuffled. To determine who goes first, each player will take a turn rolling the die. So I will roll the dice first. I got 7. Player 2 will then roll their dice. They also got 7, and then player 3 will roll their die. And they got 9. So that means player 3 will go first. Turns will be determined by whoever's counterclockwise to player 3 now. So that would mean player 3 goes first, I would go second, and then player 2 would go last. So let's begin this. Player 1, or 3 in this case, would roll their die. They would get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They would draw a spice card, and they can either add it to their hand, or they can put it in their bag to store for later. Next would be my turn. I'm red. I got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got a mystery card. And mystery cards are actually pretty unique compared to the other cards because of for one reason. There's a number located on the bottom right hand corner of the mystery cards. I need to roll a number larger than 5 for it to be usable. So let's see. I roll a 7, so I get to keep that card. Next is player's 2's turn. They roll a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They get a plant card. Now, before their turn ends, they decide to buy an item from the shop. So they take their 2 coins out, put it back in the infinity bag, and they'll then be able to take one of these cards. And once the card is put into their hand or into their bag, for example, they will then reload the shop. Next, it's back to player 3's turn. Roll again, and they land a 2. 1, 2. And now, here's an example of what would happen if someone landed on the reroll die. So, say if I got 2 again. 2 again, for example. I would then move 1, 2, and then I would be forced to reroll the dice again. I got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This time I get to pull a meat card. Now, say for example, what would happen if someone passed start? So let's say if we continue playing the game. Everybody takes their turn and such. I'm over here now, and then I decide to roll the dice again. I got 3. 1, 2, 3. I would then pick up the card that I land on. I would get 2 more coins off of that. And I would also gain a counter card. Over the course of the game, players will accumulate these counter cards. Once a player reaches 10 counter cards, they're trips around the board end and they have to take their piece off of the board. And that's how the gameplay works. In this part of the video, I will explain how the end part of the gameplay works. So once every player accumulates 10 of these counter cards, they will no longer be able to travel around the board. Once you're finished traveling along the board, you can no longer progress throughout the map. You are still able to cook, which is what I've done right here. So with my tool, I looked in the recipe book and I made 3 plant mushes with 3 random plant cards. So I have a total of 12 points. For player 2, they did not have a pestle, they had a strainer, so we would go to the strainer recipe book. And with this, they decided to make a breakfast of the champions, granting them 16 points. In normal circumstances, they would win, but during the previous turns, they actually picked up a mystery card, but they did not roll higher than an 8, so it became a penalty. Each penalty you accumulate over the game will result in a loss of 10 points at the end. So in total, he actually has 6 points in the end. So I would still win in this situation. But there is another way you can win besides points. Player 3, he actually gained every single one of the mystery cards. And with this, he was able to craft, see all recipes, the one, aka an automatic win dish. It contains every single mystery card as well as the strongest tool card in the game, which you can only get from rolling a 12. So, in all, this would result in the win of player 3, no matter what. Even if someone had 100 points, for example, player 3 would win with this hand. And that is gameplay.